Hi everybody, LG here, and welcome to r/legal advice. Before I start the video, I want to invite you all to join us in our Discord community. There's a link in the description that will take you straight to it. On our server, you'll be able to engage with everybody in the community, and everybody's super nice, so just go ahead and join us. Additionally, you'll be able to get a notification every time I'm live on a stream or there's a new video posted. But that's enough introduction for now, so let's get to the story. This one's from user Savaraka Tranemi. Am I in trouble for refusing to cooperate with a hospital as access emergency contact? 3 years ago, I was in a relationship. He was abusive, did some really deplorable things I found out about later. I made a report, got a restraining order, and haven't spoken to him or anyone that knows him in 3 years. A week ago, he was in an accident. His phone was destroyed and could not be accessed, but he had some information in his wallet. He still had me as his emergency contact. I was not aware he had added me as his emergency contact at any point. I got a call Monday from an unknown caller. It was someone from a hospital. They started telling me my ex was in a serious accident. I immediately cut them off and said, "I don't care who this is, do not contact me again." They called back and asked if I could help them get in contact with someone else. At least, I think that's what they wanted. I didn't let them finish. I cut them off pretty fast and said, "I don't care. I hope he dies. Do not contact me again," and hung up again. His sister, we were friendly but I cut contact after the breakup, messaged me yesterday only letting me know that their family hired a lawyer to sue me for refusing to take the hospital's call, causing a delay in his treatment. He also had some allergies and medical details they didn't know about, which caused complications and skyrocketed his medical bills. I had no idea about either. Am I in any kind of trouble here? Well, OP is in a very difficult situation right now and she definitely needs some legal assistance. It's a good thing that she came to the legal advice sub. Now, as you know, I am in no way a legal expert on any topic. So I'm just gonna head down to the community comments to see what they have to say and how they can help OP. Moonlight's Hand says, 1. You did not delay his treatment. Others have explained why. 2. You did not accept responsibility for him. If, through some kind of act of God, this actually did make it to the stage of legal action, your lawyer would simply point at the 3 years of absolutely no contact and go, at what point in this multi-year span during which time he was actively under a restraining order against my client, did the plaintiff think it reasonable to, without permission or notification, make my client an emergency contact when other, better options were available? 3. If you are not financially responsible for anything, pay nothing. 4. If served, then retain a lawyer, but the case shouldn't be onerous. Still, a lawyer is always needed with this kind of thing. 5. Say nothing at all, not a single word, to anyone who is even remotely in contact with him or his family. Any and all contact about even the most trivial detail must go via your legal counsel. There are no, even blank cases. Literally not a single word. No, how was your day? No answering emails. No clarification on the case. Nothing. A person who has threatened to sue you is not your friend and should not be spoken to you at all. Lawyer to lawyer talking only. Arasier says, quote, refusing to take the hospital's call, causing a delay in his treatment, end quote. I believe whoever told you that is making things up. Your refusing to take the call would not delay treatment. When a patient is unable to make decisions for themselves, the hospital doesn't just leave them untreated and wait to speak to family. Instead, the staff will render all care and assistance possible, using the best medical judgment about what a reasonable person would want done. Exactly the same as if the patient's family had requested it. The principle is called implied consent. You have no obligation to be anyone's emergency contact. You have no obligation to assist the hospital with anything. You are not responsible for this person's hospital bills. If the family really has contacted an attorney, that attorney will probably tell them they've got no case. Kinda ladylike says, I work in healthcare administration. To put it simply, emergency contacts have no legal binding. A person can put anyone as an emergency contact. An emergency contact is not the same as a guardian, next of kin, durable power of attorney, or surrogate decision maker. Only one of those persons can legally make decisions, and even those people can decline to be involved without legal recourse. Emergency contacts are informed of what happened and then will be used to help contact appropriate next of kin or decision makers. You have no obligation whatsoever to respond. Continue to ignore the calls and there will be absolutely zero recourse. The hospital should be well versed in following its state laws to find a surrogate decision makers already and does not need you to do so. Not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice. Okay, so I take from what the community is saying that OP is in the clear and she is not responsible for the medical bills or anything that could have happened to her ex. So now is when I ask you guys, what do you think about this whole thing? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on with the update from OP. As of today, all is quiet. Here is a mini update to clarify a few things and provide more information that sadly came my way without my consent. Bumped into an old mutual friend who decided to fill me in. My ex's sister did not contact me maliciously to scare me. Her message was polite and wanted to give me a heads up on her parents' actions, which she does not condone, in case anything came my way. Ex was hit by a car while he was out jogging at night. He wasn't wearing reflective clothing and wasn't carrying much on him. Phone, key, and wallet. He apparently owns a medical bracelet, But he wasn't wearing it. I don't remember him ever wearing anything on his wrists when we were together either. I believe him not wearing his medical bracelet is the nail on the coffin of any duty or involvement from my part in any way, shape, or form. Turns out he is allergic to one of the agents in the anesthesia process, either the pain relief, barbiturates, or the anesthetic itself, propofol? I am using allergic because I am not sure what the correct term is here. Allergic, intolerant, prone to side effects? Friend's words were, he didn't respond well to the anesthesia and had an adverse reaction, which complicated things. I will call it allergy for the sake of simplicity. I vaguely remember him mentioning that he's allergic to anesthesia once, when he was talking about a knee surgery he had as a child. That has been the extent of my knowledge of his allergy. I did not remember even this information until the friend mentioned the issue. Apparently, when he was intubated, prepared for surgery or some other step, the above allergy caused some additional complications that made his procedure more difficult and aggravated the state of his health, changed the default process, and increased the cost exponentially. I have no contact information of his or his family. I don't remember his parents' names, and I've never had their numbers. His sister's name is the only one I know because we were friends. Me and her have also never exchanged numbers. Our interactions have always been on Facebook Messenger. His parents believe I knew the information above about his allergy and refused to share it with the hospital maliciously. Refused to share their contact information with the hospital, which I do not have. They are stressed and scared because their son is in the hospital, and angry because they believe some of the additional burden could have been avoided had I taken the call. They are mistaken, but I understand you cannot reason even with the most otherwise level-headed of people when their child is fighting for their life. That being said, if they proceed with their lawsuit, which I doubt, I have given my lawyer who handled my restraining order the heads up, including this update, and we are fully prepared. My ex was intubated and completely out of it when I received the heads up from his sister, so he did not orchestrate this. I don't know if he's awake now. Given the above, I doubt his sister is in violation of the restraining order since she didn't contact me on his or anyone's behalf but her own. She gave me information on her parents' intended actions, so I would not be blindsided. I wouldn't want to get her in trouble either way. Well, now we have more context on the story and we know that OP has covered all of her bases legally and probably will not have any problems. Hopefully her ex's parents will not try to go forward with any lawsuit because it seems like they wouldn't have a case anyway. I did try to find more to this story to get a lot more context, but unfortunately there wasn't anything else in the comments or on OP's profile. So this is all we know. Hopefully OP will stay safe and she won't have any legal problems with this thing. Anyways, let me know what you think about the Advice and OP situation, and now let's move on to the next post. This one's from user Throwaway Alibi 321. I am my roommate's alibi for a serious crime that he's going to be investigated for. What should I do or know in advance? New Jersey. Trying to avoid specifics here for obvious reasons, but let me know if anything is too vague and I'll try to elaborate if I feel comfortable doing so. A guy, Alan, has had bad blood with my roommate Bill for a few years due to something that happened to him that he believes Bill was responsible for. Alan was the victim of a serious crime last week, and I've been informed that Bill is going to be investigated due to their history and an interaction they had a few weeks earlier. I was with Bill for the entire window of time during which this crime took place, with a serious buffer before and after it. Aside from running some errands, which took less than an hour and we were together the whole time for that as well, we were at our apartment the whole time. Bill and I have been close friends since childhood, and I'm worried that the police will be inclined to believe that I'm just covering for him because of this. Beyond how this would impact the investigation into Bill, I'm worried that there could be legal consequences if they determine that I am lying for him. We don't really have any concrete proof of the fact that we were home the whole time aside from a trip to the store, but ultimately, my number one priority is doing whatever I can to make sure that he doesn't get wrongly accused of this, let alone convicted. What should I expect here, and what's the best path forward clearing Bill's name? Should I get a lawyer? If so, I'd assume that I'd be looking for a criminal defense attorney. Is this correct? Any input or advice beyond the questions I thought of would be appreciated. Thank you in advance. Well, the first thing that kind of comes to my head is that if you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be nervous, right? But then again, I'm not in that situation. I'd probably be also freaked out just like OP. Then I thought, well, maybe you just need to look for as much evidence as possible. I don't know, maybe your phone's internet connection to your home network, if there are any cameras in the store that could show you, get that kind of footage and that kind of stuff. Did you make any phone calls or anything? Anybody that could have seen you be in your apartment during that time? But that's kind of like an alibi for the alibi, right? To me, the bottom line is, if you didn't do anything, then you shouldn't be worried. But of course, I understand the freaking out because the police are going to be out there looking for answers. They're going to put pressure on you. They're going to try to make you prove it or whatever. I don't know. I would go to a lawyer and ask them what's the best thing to do. What about you guys? How would you feel or would you react if you were in OP situation? Let me know in the comment section, and let's move on to the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP. A Bluxell says, nobody speaks to law enforcement without an attorney. We were together all day could become a confession, not an alibi. Mesturi says, quote, what should I expect here and what's the best path forward clearing Bill's name? End quote. If law enforcement reaches out to you, politely refuse to speak to them. You have zero obligation to until you are subpoenaed, and it won't help right now. Quote, should I get a lawyer? End quote. No, you wait until they officially charge Bill and he retains an attorney or is appointed one by the court. When Bill has an attorney, that is who you should give a statement to. Quote, if so, I'd assume that I'd be looking for a criminal defense attorney. Is this correct? End quote. No need. You haven't done anything criminal or wrong. Quote, any input or advice beyond the questions I've thought of would be appreciated. End quote. Tell Bill to not talk to law enforcement under any circumstances. He isn't going to talk his way out of this. If he's contacted, he should politely refuse to answer any questions. The only time to speak to them is with an attorney and only after he's been charged and/or arrested. Gullible Sign 7369 says, if you and your friend lived together and were home the whole time and you had your phones on you, that can corroborate your presence. Do you live in a building with security cameras? Did your friend talk to anyone via phone or text during this time? All of these things are part of ruling your friend out as a suspect. Even if the alibi checks out, if there is a history of threats or physical confrontation, it's possible the police would investigate murder for hire, etc. Besides all of that, if the other guy is dead or incapacitated, if he is lucid, presumably he can explain what happened. More to the point, and above all, if the police want to check out his alibi, you will hear from them. If you don't hear from them, that's a good thing for both of you. Okay, so my guess is that the first commentator and the second commentator are spot on, and once again I've proved that I have absolutely no idea about anything regarding the law. So once again, if I was in OP's shoes, I'd probably do everything that second commenter said. He sounds very knowledgeable. Anyways, let's move on to an update that OP has given us to see what's happening now. First off, my day got unexpectedly busy pretty much right after I put my last post up, and had been locked by the time I was able to look at my phone for longer than it takes to check my notifications. So I just wanted to take a second to thank everyone for their advice. I'm also comfortable with being a little more forthcoming now, as the situation has resolved itself. Long story short, the guy that had issues with my roommate had been found dead in his apartment. It's been determined that he either died of an accidental overdose or committed suicide. Either way, my roommate doesn't have to worry about being a suspect in a homicide investigation, which means that I don't have to worry about being his alibi. My source for this information is 100% reliable, but if by some chance the police switch gears and want to talk to me or my roommate, neither of us will engage without a criminal defense attorney. Thanks again. Well, without getting into the topic as to how this was resolved, the good thing is that OP doesn't have to worry about anything and that his roommate is clear of everything, so far. And that's it, I'd assume. I don't see much of a point in commenting any further about this case because it's been resolved and we already got pretty good solid advice from the commenters right before this. So this is that moment where we get to the end of the video, and I ask you guys, if you did like it, please go ahead and give it a like. It really helps me when you do that. And also, don't forget to subscribe and join the community. It's growing every day and that is fantastic. A lot of cool and nice people have joined us, especially in the Discord server. If you guys want to join there, all you need to do is go down to the video description and there will be a link to the Discord server and all the other social media where you can engage with me and the community, like Facebook, Twitch specifically, and Twitter as well. And one additional thing, I don't know if you've seen yesterday's video, but I'm going to put a card here in the description. On the first 2 minutes of that video, I tell you guys where I want to take this channel and the future of my content. So if you guys are curious about that, please go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think. And finally, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch these videos. It really means a lot to me that this content is appreciated and all the love that you guys show in the comment section is fantastic. Thank you again. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.